Eric Pfeiffer from Hoosier Ag Today, and this is a HAT Special Report with USDA Undersecretary for Trade and Foreign Agricultural Affairs, Ted McKinney. I had the opportunity to speak with Undersecretary McKinney out at Kemper Farms in Lafayette on Thursday, where he was holding a roundtable discussion with farmers and congressional leaders talking about trade, specifically USMCA.
Well, it is a good deal. USMCA, of course, is the NAFTA 2.0 for some that don't know that. And it's basically done and in the hands of Congress. We're hoping that Speaker Pelosi will take it up. I know I've seen a lot of requests for that to be done, but ultimately she will make that determination when it comes to the House floor. It's a good deal. I remember many in ag saying, do no harm. Do no harm. In other words, why are we even opening this up? We have improved a fair amount on NAFTA as we knew it originally. One of the big ones is much more dairy access, and we've brought down the unfairness, some might even say cheating, that Canada was doing with the creation of 2 new classes of milk and milk products. I think we've got better access for our wheat. There is some poultry, in your listening and reading area, and with absolute certainty, greater poultry. But 2 of the things that are not well known is there's a brand new written chapter on biotechnology and the biosciences. Nowhere else around the world does a free trade agreement have that. And so by having that, we set a template we can cut and paste perhaps into other agreements, and it's a dandy. And it not only includes biotech as we've known it, the so-called GMOs, but it also includes gene editing and the CRISPR technologies, which is the wave of the future. That's a very important chapter. And then finally, there's been a complete rewrite of the phytosanitary chapters. And for those that know that, that's usually where you get screwed around the world. People start playing with what's safe and what's not safe. I look to Europe. Oh, those GMOs, they're just not safe. We can't do that. Come on. So the rewrite of that also gives us language that we can lift, cut and paste, use in whatever way with the others. Not to mention just bringing certainty. There's so much uncertainty on farms these days that bringing certainty. So I'd say in a nutshell, those are the things that I think USMCA does so well for Indiana ag and beyond.
It seems like we've been waiting a while for USMCA to get done, that's been kind of the first domino that needs to fall here to start looking at some of these other things. Obviously, some advancement with Japan over the weekend. Can you talk a little bit about those advancements, what your role was in speaking with the Japanese to get those talks moving forward and hopefully have something here at the end of September?
Well, sure. Well, let me speak first to the USMCA and the closure of that. It is not unusual that the moment a president signs it, that it takes a while. In this case, Congress wants to digest it, understand it. They've made a couple of trips to Mexico. I saw today they're going to make another one to make sure that concerns about labor standards and wages meet their needs. So that's not unusual. But I'll also say, now that the August recess is coming to close, September 6th, it's time to get it done. It's time to bring it forward for the benefit of all 3 countries. Mexico has passed it. Canada is looking hard at it, further along than we. It's time for those of us who initiated it to close it. With respect to Japan, that was primarily led in terms of negotiations by Ambassador Bob Lighthizer, and they have an ag team, my good friend Greg Dowd and team. But as always is the case, a number of my foreign ag service team were there because they have the most depth and breadth on the various crops or critters or nuances of trade. And so it's been a great team effort. And this is not a full-blown FTA. This is really a ag-only in terms of our access, ag-only thing, and I think it's going to be a good one. It is an agreement in principle. The intent is for the President Trump, Prime Minister Abe to sign that while they're up at the UN in New York in September. And then sometime later, we hope maybe January 1, it would go into effect. And that's when we'd start to see tariffs coming down or dropping to zero or whatever it is that was negotiated product by product by product. I think it's going to be a fantastic addition to our trade portfolio.
Last one here is on China. You knew I was going to get there.
Sure.
some talks over the weekend about how they wanted to come back to the negotiating table. A statement put out there by Vice Premier Leah Huh about wanting to do this in a calm way. There's been a lot made of where the phone calls came from. I don't know that much really matters because that statement was put out there, but it sounds like everyone wants to get back to the negotiating table. Have there been talks of actually doing it?
Well, you just shared with me some new information. I had been telling people in the last week or two that I was holding out hope that neither side had said we're canceling the early September talks. And as long as nobody's canceled it, I'll presume that they're on, and you've confirmed that. And that's a very good sign. But we should not presume that's victory and that we're going to go sign a deal in 2 months. No. We're sort of working our way back after they did all of their backsliding and changing. And I'll remind people, it's a new and different China these days. It's a very new and different China. But we know this. They have been hurting a great deal. So have we. They need us, we need them. This is probably the time to bring it together. But I'll also say, notwithstanding how much I like my friends that I've come to know in China, Ministry of Ag, it's still a communist state, and we have been led down the primrose path so many times. I am being very cautious about getting my hopes up. But I am bullish, I'm not pessimistic.
Undersecretary Ted McKinney, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.